Welcome to the Autopsy Room. Today we're going to talk about Lake Shawnee Amusement Park, located in Mercer County, West Virginia, near a quiet community of Rock, West Virginia. Lake Shawnee Abandoned Amusement Park is more than a local attraction. It's a story that has been passed down for generations, while it often listed amongst the world's most haunted places. Its legend runs deeper than ghost tales. The folklore surrounding Lake Shawnee has lived on through word of mouth, shared by many families and neighbors for centuries. Around here, everyone seems to know the story about the lake, while growing up hearing warnings, while others recall relatives swapping strange stories of experiences tied to the old rides and grounds. Whether you believe in curses or coincidence, the land carries a history that feels impossible to ignore. Technically, Lake Shawnee Amusement Park history dates back to 1926, when the park first opens its doors to visitors. More significantly, though, Lake Shawnee has roots that stretch hundreds of years into the past, but it took more current events to uncover some of the area's incredible history. Lake Shawnee Amusement Park opened its doors in 1926 when Uncle Conley, that's what I'll call him, purchased the land. His vision to build a place for local families to relax and enjoy time together was realized as local coal miners from local towns descended on it each year, making the destination a summer vacation. The park brimmed with activities. It featured a man-made swimming pool, a racetrack, concessions, and cabins for visitors that desire staying overnight. The cornerstone was the Ferris wheel and the swings, two rides popular with everyone who spent time at the park. Tragedy began to grip Lake Shawnee Amusement Park in the 1950s when several deaths shocked locals. A girl's life ended on a swing when a delivery truck backed into her seat, killing her in place. Another boy lost his life when he was drowned in a swimming pool because his arm got stuck in a pipe. By 1966, Lake Shawnee Amusement Park closed its doors to the public and the land sat sleeping for decades. In the 1980s, the park again welcomed visitors when Gaylord White acquired the land and set forth to restore it. In addition to purchasing a Ferris wheel, he found a swing ride that seemed just like the one they had before. When they installed the swings on the property, he realized the serial numbers matched the swing that was there in the 1920s until the park closed in '66. It was an unacceptable homecoming that made the grand opening even more moving. Lake Shawnee Amusement Park welcomed tens of thousands of visitors during its second run, which ran just 3 years. Unfortunately, high insurance prices forced the White family to close the doors for the second and final time, forcing them to pilot other activities on the land to keep it active. They hosted fishing tournaments, they used the lake for swimming, and planned to create space on the property for mud bogging, a motorsport that families knew would draw a crowd to watch. While excavating the mud for the bogging track, the White family made series of surprising discoveries that added depth to the property and already enriched history. A team from Marshall University discovered artifacts that told a story of people who originally called the land home, the Shawnee tribe. In the 1700s, the property was the active home base for the Native Americans until they seemed to suddenly disappear. Among bracelets, clothing, and tools that excavators found, they also found a mass grave that suggested as many as 3,000 Shawnee had been buried on the property. It was a shocking discovery that yet furthered another story that played out the land. In the 1770s, Mitchell Clay and his wife and their children became the county's first English settlers. Grief did not spare them in their new home. In 1783, members of the Shawnee tribe murdered their 2 children on the property. Mitchell tracked the tribe members down in Ohio, where he found his 3rd child, his son, burned at the stake. All 3 children were buried on the property, and a monument was placed on the property to show their respect to the children and the family. As it started to make people wonder, is Lake Shawnee Amusement Park really haunted? Many visitors to Lake Shawnee Amusement Park have stories that suggested some spirits at play. Many people report attractions with the little girl who died on the swings because of the White family acquired the original swing set when they reopened the park in the 1980s. It seemed possible, likely even, that the girl's spirit might have spent time near the spot where she took her final breath. Sure enough, some eerie attractions have been taking place on the swing. Her swing is marked with a red ribbon, although she seems to prefer the adjacent swing where the owl ornament hangs down. On a still night, the owl seems to dance in the breeze only it can feel. We watched it shake and spin on calm days when even the leaves didn't move. Curious, the owl will often stop dead in its track, falling limp, as if someone hit it with a switch, or as if a child dropped it. The boy who died in the lake is also reported to move throughout the park, seemingly preferred the area at the front of the park where he can welcome and protect visitors in a way that he could not protect himself when he was alive. Close to the lake, a white plastic pinwheel attached to the side of the old ticket booth may be his connection from his world to the living. Like the owl ornament, the pinwheel moves even though when there's no wind, suggesting that someone we can't see might be having the ability to control it. While it may be impossible to separate the suspicious from the supernatural, one thing is for sure: there doesn't seem to be any evil spirits on the property. Despite the Shawnee burial grounds just adjacent to the field and the resting place of the Clay children who perished in the violent attack of the Shawnee, there are only stories about playful ghosts who only seem interested in human connection. Your visit might connect you with your own ghost stories, but they are more likely to bring a smile to your face. Lake Shawnee Amusement Park is popular in the fall, especially close to Halloween, but it's also a great place to visit any time of year. These days, the park itself is quiet. You can't ride rides or swim in the lake. Visitors are urged to leave an offering as a sign of respect to the Shawnee and the many people the land has taken. In fact, Lake Shawnee is staffed entirely by people with strong connection of its former glory, including several people who worked there in their younger years. It is one of the aspects of the experience that makes the visit to Lake Shawnee Amusement Park special. The park will always be about making people happy, and today that tradition continues. So if you ever find yourself in Mercer County, go to Lake Shawnee Amusement Park. See what you can find. Till next time, good night, everybody.